Hello, friends. I hope you can hear me okay because if it's only me, then of course I have to just trust that the tech is working. um, all right, so exciting topic for today. I'm actually going to cover, and I've been wanting to go through it and just talk about it and just see if this might help anybody out there who's also considering using newsletter marketing or just email marketing for their businesses. And just, the topic is all about, and as you saw, lessons from the Morning Brew founder. And so he recently published a newsletter article on LinkedIn, and his name is Alex Lieberman. For those of you who are Morning Brew readers, avid readers, subscribers, you know who he is, and you follow him on LinkedIn most likely. And he creates great content. He's very authentic, and he is very generous with all the insights that he provides with building a newsletter and just creating content in general and just marketing. Because he and his co-founder, Austin Reeve, co-founded Morning Brew as college students. And I happen to know this because, I'll see his content. Alex is University of Michigan alum. And yeah, so he grew from the Midwest, and everything was just him organically growing the list, asking people to subscribe from during his college years. He was going through a lot of personal dealings, lost his father in the process, and then I guess he channeled a lot of that energy towards building Morning Brew. And they had a lot of luck along the way. I heard interviews with Austin Reef when he was interviewed by Sam Parr, who's also an email newsletter guru who founded The Hustle, and now with Sean Puri on My First Million. So that podcast also has grown tremendously. So just, I learned a lot from content creators. I learned a lot from other marketers, entrepreneurs on how to grow an online business and a new business as well. So anyways, I found this newsletter to be super helpful. It's one of those colon TLDR type of reads. So I'm going to go ahead and share in the comments the link to, it's going to be obviously StreamYard allows for us to post comments publicly onto Facebook and YouTube. It won't go to LinkedIn. So if you can't find it, I'm going to try to add it after the fact, and I'll include that link in the recording. So let me go ahead and share my screen, if it'll let me. Here it is. Okay, so here, let me see if it'll actually skip. No, so it's sharing this tab. I really like how it does this immersive reader option. I could probably zoom in and so that you can see it. But right here, this little icon, immersive reader, let's see if it'll actually load it there. See, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I didn't know this, and I've always wanted this, where I wish I could just listen to the posts that people post onto their social media accounts, because I don't have time to read these lengthy, insightful posts by these so-called experts, right? But, obviously Alex is an expert, so I love how you can actually play the audio. Granted, it's not their authentic voice. I don't know if it'll actually play the audio.
I've taken 10 years of experience building Morning Brew into $75 million revenue, 4.5.
So yeah, I could probably try to tune in and listen to that, but I might tune out. So anyways, this is a very lengthy read, but I'll just go ahead and focus on these points here first and then see where the conversation goes. So he said, step one, pick your niche. And when Ali and I co-founded CityClips a year ago, it was a funny conversation. First, I honestly really wanted to build a niche newsletter within the Filipino entrepreneurial space. And so I had an appointment with Ali. I asked him because I knew he grew a newsletter business. I didn't know, I think at the time his new newsletter was probably 10,000 subscribers, or already, significant number. But then by the time I met up with him, he was like, oh no, I think it's already at 100,000. And now this year he's at 200,000. So it's, his niche newsletter is a business newsletter within his niche market. And so I sought for some advice and mentorship, and I was like, hey, I want to grow a newsletter business within the Filipino entrepreneurial space. And so at first he, like, let's say he was like thinking, he asked me specifically about my market and everything. And I believe I had a niche market in mind, but I think I decided, in order to grow this, because he wanted to grow a newsletter too, but that was focused on the local market. And so I was thinking, okay, why don't I just learn with him on how to grow it that's focused on the local market? Because he was encouraged me to grow within the local market where I'm at already. Because what he found was that he ran into some challenges growing a niche market that he wasn't physically located at. So, lessons learned from him and his advice. I was like, okay, let's focus on the local market, because even then I'm like, okay, there's X amount of people and millions of Filipinos, like it's pretty big market, right? But then I'm sure you run into challenges as you grow. You have to like start doing other things to keep your community engaged. So in this case, we're here locally. He said, why don't we focus on the local market and focus on topics that obviously cater towards what we're interested in. He said, make sure it's something that you definitely are interested in. So anyways, we're kind of getting into the next step, which is developing the content strategy. And so for us, our niche to answer for step one is the business and tech community within the North Florida market. So from Tallahassee, and I honestly cover topics in the Gainesville area because there's so much going on over there. And then we've been paying attention to the 30A, Pensacola, Big Bend, Panhandle area, because there's some developments as well. Maybe they're not so public because a lot of it is related to military, aerospace, those kinds of things. And so we're just like keeping an eye on whatever's happening in the region, especially when Atlanta's not too far. And it's only going to keep growing further south. And there's Jacksonville. There's also a lot of development going on over there. So we like to keep an eye on what's happening in the region, because Tallahassee is only like a population of 200,000, and there's only so much activity that happens within the business and tech communities. So yeah, we'll see how it develops further. And then step two. I touched upon the topics focused on business and tech, and our content strategy. We decided at first. I started, I even said, why don't we just do it monthly or weekly? And he said, no, you need to have it daily. I was like, fine. Part of me was like, no, I don't really want to develop that much content, because he said in his experience, he found that doing the daily was actually easier than doing this weekly, because you find that you have to cram so much information into one newsletter. And that really was true. When I tried doing it weekly, I tried to fit in so much, and then you get you overanalyze what you need to include, et cetera, et cetera. So then now, speaking of the team in step three, now that I've kind of gotten to a system where my team, thank you, shout out to my team, JH Creative, Team CityClips, all of you who pretty much helped me follow the process that we've developed and decided on a system to now become at least a week or two ahead. We're getting to the point now we're starting to get to curating content and aggregating content to a month ahead. So I'm really excited about that. I've been pushing for the team to really speed up their process. And now that they're starting to get more confident about finding contents, because the process really is not only systematized in a way that's efficient for my team, but it's like we curate content based off of the topics. So the content pillars for us is, okay, Monday is all about motivation, positivity, growth, economic development, what's happening in Tallahassee, North Florida. And then Tuesday is about tech. it just makes sense, right? We need to, because it's all about business and tech. So Tuesdays is all about new innovation, invention, things that are happening in the tech community, things to celebrate about in the tech community. And then Wednesday is all about women. So wanted to give more of a platform to women, and there's so much actually happening among women, especially here in Tallahassee. Shout out to Women Wednesdays and Barbara for always highlighting women to make Tallahassee the #1 city for women. And also the population here, like there's at least over 50% of women that make up the business community, especially women founders, women-owned businesses now in even nationally, but here in Tallahassee for sure, we have a good representation of women that are actually starting and owning a business. And now it's starting to pick up among minorities as well, minority-owned businesses. So definitely wanted to highlight that for women on Wednesdays. And then Thursday is all about statistics. I love numbers, I love stats, I love facts. So we thought, okay, if we don't happen to catch too much info all the time, then at least we have this bucket here for Thursday to focus on statistics, like all positive things that indicates growth, indicates stats for a business, not just like revenue, although I love knowing about the facts about revenue for a business, but like maybe it's we're finding that a lot of sports stats really fall into that category. So sports stats, infographics, if we stumble on those, if your business has had tremendous success, we love to see what contributed to that success. Statistics about more houses being purchased and more businesses starting up, that kind of thing. We'd love to reshare that kind of content. And then Friday is all about fun in Florida. So we were figuring out ways to tackle, like, how can we, and we don't have this throughout every single day because we don't always capture everything according to this pattern, but we always talk about like, okay, let's definitely highlight local, then by state or region. So Tallahassee by region, Florida as the state, or even Southeast. So like we try to zoom out. But in this case for Friday, it's all about fun facts, anything that goes viral, something fun, funny, something that's just more about like, let's get into the weekend with a lighthearted feel. And a lot of people really like our Fun Friday and Fact Fridays or Florida Fridays. Like that's all very similar to what we curate for Fridays. So anyways, that's our content strategy. And who knows how we niche down and eventually who knows what we'll do in the future. But so far we're getting consistent open rate for all our emails from Monday through Friday. It might not be the same people every single day, but different people open them, and we're consistently getting open rates of 45% to 50%. Actually, shout out to Ruvos. We recently had an email that said Ruvos celebrates 20 years, and that got 60% open rate. So, people really do care about what's going on locally. I keep getting emails at least once a week, or when I bump into someone in the community and they say, I really like it. I really open and read what you find, and it's so interesting. Some things I might have heard of, some things I didn't even know, some things I didn't know, people that I didn't know existed. So a lot of positive things are happening due to just this communication channel. And so that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me motivated. People are very happy with the content that we push out. So thank you so much for all your positive feedback. Okay, so like I said, oh, that's so funny. So you click on it and then interesting. Love this. So when you click on, when we go into step 3, I mentioned how I pick the team. If you have questions about how my team does it, I'm sure there's different ways that different teams approach it. Like I'm amazed by all the content that Morning Brew, The Hustle, Like here I believe I have it. Yeah, I mean here, trends, like trends I think is now down to monthly because they have since had to conclude the subscriber platform that I paid for a while ago. But they have, look at all the volume of content and information, and it's so stacked, like in one newsletter. That's a lot of writing and research. And so at a certain point, oh yeah, of course it's not showing, but let me see if I can share the I'm going to go ahead and share the window instead so then I can hop between. Yeah, here it is. Window. This should be it. Yeah. So this is trends right here. And I actually joined their subscription model and I liked it. They had a website where you had access to information, articles, research, a lot of that. Like I just like knowing things, random things. So, and I love their formatting. I love how they really, they have amazing writers. So, anyways, I know that for Morning Brew, they do a really good job with. Let's see here. They have like a handful of team members. I guess they all contribute towards that issue. So that could explain why they're able to pack it up so much and for one day. But for my team, what we've done is we've decided, okay, one person per day. And then in some cases now I have two people per day. So like I have one person for Monday, so that's probably at least a handful, right? It used to be that one person used to do 2 days, and then we just said, okay, one person per day. And then they have a secondary person, a support person to kind of test and review. And like I help approve them at every phase, approve the topics, approve the drafts once in a while when I have time. But they've been great and pretty much checking each other's work. I've made sure that they all know how to check each other's work and get detailed enough. And by the time it gets to me, it shouldn't take more than 15 to 30 minutes of like reviewing again one more time, seeing that the information is relevant, reading to see if it makes sense to still include a topic, or are we missing something, missing information that should have been included in a section. So and we've decided too, like, let's keep it short because we're seeing all these newsletters that are tremendously long and people don't have time to look at all of it. So for us, in our case, I know with Ollie, he preferred that it was shorter because I used to have lengthier examples and drafts. And he's like, let's just keep it short. And most people can't remember more than 3 things at a time anyways. So we decided let's just stick to 3 sections and then include all the events that's happening that week or the upcoming events for the month. And that's, it's been like, so far everybody really likes it. So no complaints so far. I haven't heard anything. Once in a while we might have a typo. My husband's good about catching those for me after the fact. And then he's a good proofreader. And also we have sometimes like a broken link here and there. So we try our best to not have those. And we send each other test emails before we, publish, but we've gotten down to a science now where I'm able to look at something the day before, the day of. If we're on top of things, I can actually see a test email a week ahead and then stay on top of my reviews and try to do the reviews in advance. But for the most part, it's been working really great. I hope to get to the point where we're primarily doing this and we're like a couple weeks in advance and we're able to schedule something in advance. But we obviously still want to keep things current and include time sensitive topics and event recaps and things like that. So and now we also know a way to how to add value for sponsors and partners. And so we will share that at some point. And then step 4, create. I've touched on how we've been doing that. We're pretty much aggregating a lot of content and then growing. Right now we're in the growth phase. we are trying to monetize soon. We've had inquiries of people asking like how much we're gonna start charging. Um, Earlier is better for anyone who's interested because, you know, it's only gonna grow from here on out. And because this thing is super lengthy. There's like more details on this article. And I'm sure like I would rather listen to him talk about it actually. He's he's probably got a podcast floating around somewhere. Um, but this one's encouraging right here. Let me see if it'll let me take this size down. Yeah, okay, okay, good, perfect. Here. Um, See, this formatting looks better. Okay, so like I said, talked about picking your niche. Is it a high need audience? Personal passion, we talked about that. And I think this is definitely this is all for professionals. It's a business to business newsletter. It's all about business development, helping people get insights for opportunities and encouraging people, inspiring people for entrepreneurship. It's almost like entrepreneur, except it's focused on local business, local tech. So that is actually trending. There's still opportunities, and Tallahassee is only going to grow. All these tech ecosystems nearby is only going to grow and expand. So we want to be part of that journey. And I've talked about this on a show before where I was in Silicon Valley in the mid 90s because, I grew up there. I grew up in San Francisco. I only got things on the surface. I got impressions of things by seeing headlines here and there. I never really fully understood what was happening. Now, being a grown adult, being, in the professional world and understanding a little bit more, I realized like, wow, I could have ridden that train somehow. And now here where things are, Florida's picking up a little after the fact in a good way. We can learn from the mistakes of all the other tech ecosystems and do something better, more positive results, etc. We can still have that growth here in this region without repeating the mistakes of the others in bigger cities and things like that. So I see a lot of opportunity. I keep seeing headlines for positive growth and development, especially in Central Florida and South Florida. But there's stuff happening up here too, and no one's really paying attention to that. So we really want to highlight the tech companies that are actually accomplishing success here in this area. So I would say yes, it is trending up. It says here, the audience for this niche will be bigger in 5 years. Yes, I would say so. And then the passion for information be higher? Yes, I think so. Is it a valuable audience? Yes, it is for us because it's business to business owners. This is cool. This is encouraging right here. 2 types that we're definitely over 100. We're actually at the 250 mark now, which is amazing. It's actually, I would love to be at 1,000, to be completely transparent, but I'm believing it's still going to grow. I believe it's going to grow. And so, I mean, even with just that small list, a good percentage are CEOs, C-level, executive directors. Some are leaders in the community and business owners. So that only adds value to the list, right? And there are entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs, people who want to keep up with what's happening with business and development and tech. So yeah, I would say that the value is only going to continue to increase. And which, by the way, speaking of, I had someone reach out to me because they saw my post about CityClips. on Launch Tally. Shout out to Launch Tally. And then they reached out to me and they said, hey, do you happen to know of other fintech companies in town? Do you have a list or something? So my team compiled a list, which I need to send out to you. You know who you are. I have the list. I actually have the list. My nitpicky perfectionist side wanted to format it a little bit better. I think it's cleaned up now. I just need to shoot it out. And then we'll publish it on CityClips. So what I said was like, you need to connect to this person, this person, this person. And one of them was obviously a business friend of mine who owns a tech company in town. They're relatively known for the quality of app development and websites and things like that they've done for financial institutions. I'm not going to say who yet until it's a done deal, but they have had great initial conversations of, you could say, discovery meetings, and it's possible that my contact will close business out of it. So yeah, you gotta take it for what it is. I'm glad that connections are being made, and that's pretty much what we want to hear. We want people to be connecting with each other, learning from each other, learning about each other, and yeah, just all the positive that can happen from being a communications platform. So let's see. I know I'm going to conclude because I'm running at the end of my session here, but yeah, I mean, he dives deep. Obviously, I don't have time to dive deep, but maybe, I mean, I might as well just do like a chapter every section and just learn what we can do from this. You know, a lot of it is some stuff that I already know, that I've heard already. I would love to just go through this and be like, okay, what does CityClips does? Like, does this address his tips here? Like, I just need to just go through this and be like, okay, this is what we're doing right now with this. Like, are we actually doing this? Do we have a brand persona? Yeah. People are saying that they could hear my personality through it. We kind of want it to be conversational, witty, deeply informed. There you go. I mean, then we pretty much want a similar format. So running closer to the end of my almost 30 minutes, which I try to aim for. Let me see here. By the way, I'm not sharing this publicly, only just sharing my screen. Because this map could be completely new by the time it hits. I will be at the TLH Beer Fest tabling. It looks like my neighbors potentially will be down here. CityClips will be here at the TLH Beer Fest this weekend, right here. I hope you guys stop by at my table and let's do the Wheel of Names. There you go. Okay. I got the names pulled up this time. We do our weekly drawings. I had a vacation last week. It was nice to take a break a little bit, but you know, some of us who live and work and breathe off of our businesses, and sometimes vacations can be more tiring than it should be. So here, Wheel of Names. Please, Kimberly, congratulations. You won our weekly drawing. We will contact you and you will take your pick. We are starting to rack up on new prizes again. We have a few local oriented gifts. I bought a few tumblers from Hearth and Soul, and they also had an organic candle that I got at an event that Safe Families co-hosted with Hearth and Soul. So I look forward to including that as part of the incentive for you guys to share this newsletter. So don't forget to share, please, guys. We might do like a word of mouth thing again. Subscribe. We are starting to get gradual subscriptions. The ad campaigns they have been rolling out, and we're tweaking the ads a little bit, and then they're going to hopefully start ramping up. But yeah, I created an automated response now that explains a little bit more about what to expect with our newsletter. So we hope you guys like this episode, and let me know if you have any feedback. We'd love to cover questions if you have any related to marketing online and running a business and a newsletter business. So we'll keep you posted, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.